Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. I have really good news today to share with you. It's a soothing and comforting beacon of some form of light within the luxury fashion world. It's a thin glimmer of hope, but it's there, and it involves Chanel. So, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week, so come join the fun. Come join the chats. Hi, chat. You guys, thumb up this video. Push the notification bell. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. I am so happy to finally, after years of fights and just being so disappointed with Chanel over and over and over again, it seems like something is changing for the better. Now, hear me out. This is going to be a trajectory, okay? It's a cathartic trajectory process. By the way, I'm wearing a Chanel cardigan today and Chanel ring and, Chanel, oh, where's my, there it is, little ring. So, celebrating. You know how we were complaining about Chanel's after sale care, like non-existent basically? We were always focusing on the wrong stuff. Now hear me out on this. People complain about the quality. Some people. There's still some people who don't. But some people still complain about the lack of quality of Chanel leather in their leather bags. I've also received a couple of people complaining to me, people that have good budgets, that are buying Chanel leather clothes, jackets, pants, skirts, saying that it's also not the best. They've had issues lately. And I have received quite a few complaints, including my own personal complaints, when I did have peeling leather issues, cracking leather issues on their bags, and I would bring them into Chanel for repairs. You would wait 4 to 6 months for the bag to return to you, and then it would return to you not repaired. And it's this kind of weird game of them sending it back and forth from, the factory back to the boutique to you, and then they're like hoping that you're going to accept the bag, that you're going to get tired of this game. In the meanwhile, prices keep going up, so your bag keeps losing in value. It's just like people are really complaining about their aftercare, leather aftercare service. It's like not really existent and yada yada. Well, since I stopped purchasing their leather goods, last leather bag I bought was around June of 2022. So we are 1.5 years in of me not buying their leather. That is amazing how long and how quickly time passes. But I've not stopped purchasing Chanel. I've just focused on other things that I like more. Their clothing, fine jewelry, perfumes, costume jewelry, more clothing. And I can tell you this. There is where Chanel still shines. Like a bright star. Coincidentally, we have come to a point also where the price increases. Sure, they increased prices all across the board. Their brand increases prices on every product. But they do tend to increase more and quicker their bags that are still quite coveted than they do other products. So while their other products also do go up in price, they don't go up in price so aggressively and so often as their bags do. And also don't forget that their apparel and quite a few pieces of costume jewelry go on sale. 40% off 1 year after the collection has been released, not 6 months later. Chanel has different ways of doing sales than other brands. So, but because the bags have gone up in price so quickly and so often, I have realized and noticed since several months now, every time I go to a Chanel boutique, minus holiday season, okay, Christmas is always messy. But even still, this past holiday season, there was rarely ever a queue in front of Chanel waiting to come in. There is still to this day a queue in front of Louis waiting to come in, not Chanel. Now, after the holiday season has passed, empty. And some people are saying, oh, it's empty, nobody's interested anymore. But I found it fabulous. Now, here's the first point that I find a positive glimmer of hope for Chanel. On one end, yes, prices are going up and it's a little bit snobby of them to do it, but they wanted their boutiques to not be overfilled. They didn't want to have queues of people waiting outside. They didn't want that supermarket vibe. They didn't want masses and masses to buy quickly their products and then sell them pre-loved, diminishing, the desirability of the brand. Of the brand. I understand it in a way. I just wish that with the increase of their prices, their quality would also increase. That's another issue altogether. But one point, now I went into the boutique after holiday season. So we're talking January 2024. So relaxing. I was not pushed. I was not rushed by the sales associate. I sat down, super chill. In the past, my sales associate was so stressed. She would forget sometimes to even offer me a drink. I mean, I'm not talking champagne. I'm saying just a water. Or, I would have to say, I'm really thirsty. She's like, okay, yeah, so sorry. Like super, super busy. Now, super relaxed. Store is empty. You get the whole store to yourself. Hey, you want a drink? Drink. We look through the collection together, just like in the good old days. And I've been a client of Chanel for several decades now. So I remember that time, and it felt so good again to be in an empty space where you had time to savor, flavor, taste what this brand can actually do. Time is the biggest luxury. And finally, my sales associate had time again, and we could just sit down and watch the collection, look at stuff, and try things on. And so then I was offered also the Pret-a-Porter sale, and I purchased, and I've unboxed this on my channel a couple of days or weeks ago, depending on when I post this video, this gorgeous Métier d'Art 2022/2023 Le 19M cardigan in a gorgeous burgundy 4-pocket thing with buttons. And it didn't come with extra buttons. Now, I purchased it on sale. And I said, listen, this cardigan doesn't, it doesn't usually, everything that has buttons, like also this piece, it also came with extra buttons. You always get extra buttons. But since that cardigan doesn't have buttons to close the cardigan, it only has buttons on the pockets, it didn't come with extra buttons. And it was on sale. And I said, oh, it would be nice to have extra buttons just in case. And here's where, so first thing, empty store, loved it. They've achieved it. I don't know if they're happy with having empty stores because they're going to earn less money. But me as a client, I adore it. Second thing, she's like, oh, I can order you extra buttons. No worries. I was like, really? Thank you. Because I'm always terrified of losing these buttons. The Chanel button is always a topic. Coincidentally, the Chanel button is also the theme of the upcoming Chanel Haute Couture collection for Spring/Summer 24. It's all about around the button. So you know how important the button is to Chanel. So I say, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Here you see the care that goes when you buy clothes, when you buy what Chanel stands for. Chanel always stood for fashion, fabrics, textiles. Chanel is not leather. Some people tend to forget that. The first 255 bag Coco Chanel made was not in leather. It was in jersey and, well, either gros gras interior or a silky satiny interior. No leather was used for the first 255 bag. Leather came later. So Chanel is not known for their leather. Unfortunately, they've become really known for their bags in past years, but due to Karl Lagerfeld, but They really take pride in their clothing. So she was like, of course, I'm going to contact Paris and they will send you 2 spare buttons. 1 week later, I get the call. My buttons have arrived. No need to pay anything extra. I'm going to show you the buttons. They arrived, my 2 extra buttons. Look at this little beauty. For my cardigan. They're like little jewels. They're so beautiful. They sent me extra buttons. Even though the item was on sale. No questions asked. So that's the second thing I was shocked. And third thing I was shocked is how, pardon me, how quickly these arrived. It didn't take half a year. It took a week. My buttons were there. Then you guys remember, I hunted down Pre-Loved just a week ago. Just 1 week ago. I look really weird on this screenshot. Doesn't matter. Just a week ago, I hunted down this Cruise 2013. That's 11 years old. This Cruise hair bow that you can also kind of use as a bow for the shirt in Marie Antoinette blue. I purchased this secondhand. There's no authenticity certificate with it. I know my Chanel. Immediately I was like, oh my God, Cruise Collection 2013. It was a steal of a price, wonderful price. And I made a video about this, so you can go check out that video as well. And I bought it and I wore it for last live stream. And the back clip is hand stitched to the silk, and the stitch detached. So it pulled, it broke. It was, it's 11 years old. I took the bow to Chanel. And I was very humble. I said, listen, to my sales associate, I know, this is Pre-Loved. It's 11 years old. It broke. I showed it in the back. Like, if you can tell me no, it's okay. I don't expect you to repair it, to do anything. But, it's a beautiful piece. It's a very thick, beautiful silk with organza on top. It's like such a beautiful piece. And she looked at it. She's like, oh my gosh, it's the Marie Antoinette blue. She's like, I remember this bow from 11 years ago. She turns it in the back and she starts inspecting and says, oh, we can push it up a little bit. I see what we can do here. We can make it even better. We have our seamstress. She's like, yeah, we can do this. It'll be ready in a week. I'm like, no, seriously. I'm like, do I need to pay something? She's like, no. This is our silk. That's what she said. This is our silk. We're going to take care of our silk. I was like, wow. That's luxury. That bow is 11 years old. I treated it like it was a treasure, right? But she also treated it like it was a special heirloom. Oh, I get goosebumps. You see, this is what makes me love Chanel when this happens. And the fact that this is happening right now with that brand is making me very happy, because that's how I want to feel at Chanel, and I'm getting that feeling back again. I go into the boutique and I feel safe. It's my safe zone. I know it's a super expensive place and it's ridiculously, obnoxiously expensive, and yes on all accounts. But that feeling of safety and just being pampered, and knowing that also the sales associate treasures the piece just like you do. Oh, that is such a special feeling, you guys. It's hard to describe, but it's a wonderful feeling. Okay. And so I do believe we're kind of over the hill in terms of it was insane during the pandemic. I mean, no matter how much they would increase their prices, people would still keep queuing up in front of the stores to buy their frickin' bags. Well, now that has subsided. And thank God that has subsided, because now we can focus on the good stuff that Chanel has to offer. Their textiles, their fabrics, their silks, their tweeds. No other brand does that. Other brands might try. They don't come that close, you know. Louis Vuitton does their canvas and their leathers and their travel goods. Louis Vuitton is not a fashion brand. Don't be fooled for a second. So when I go to Louis, I don't want to buy fashion. Hermes, also not a fashion brand. I'm sorry, Hermes. I love you. I love your leather. Hermes is good for leather. Hermes is good for, their little kind of heritage jewelry pieces. Great for their leather, horse riding gear. I adore Hermes for that. Great. Leather, for me, if I want luxury leather, I will be going to Hermes from now on, not to Chanel. Chanel is not leather. It's not, to me. I have learned my lesson. Chanel is not about the leather, just like Louis Vuitton is not about fashion and clothing. Period. We've learned our lesson. So I will go to Chanel for their costume jewelry, for their fashion, and that's where they shine. That's where they take pride. And the bow is not going to be sent away to another factory. They have an in-house seamstress that does everything, all the stitches, all the touch-ups. It's just that she has a queue of things to do before she can get to my bow, and then she's going to do the bow. So I'm not going to have to wait 6 months. When I bought the cardigan to which these buttons are from, you know how Chanel cardigans, they always have the information tag here stitched on 2 stitches, 1, 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then there's a hole in between. So my cardigan had this stitch came loose, and I was like, the tag is coming loose. She's like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna take it to the seamstress. I'm like, really? Don't worry, I can also, come on, I can do that too. She's like, no. She rushed up to the seamstress, attached it like it was never detached. She brought it back. She's like, look, is it good? I'm like, oh my God, yes, it's good. Thank you so much. Such a vibe. Such a vibe. I'm telling you, this is why I love Chanel. This is why I loved them in the past, and this is why I keep loving them now. So when I tell you don't buy their leather bags, I'm not telling you, boycott Chanel. I'm telling you, give them a chance to sell you a product you will really be happy with. Not because you can show off that, oh, look, I can afford a Chanel bag. You're going to be wearing a piece that maybe only it's Chanel and nobody else. It's going to be so much more worth it emotionally than that freaking bag that, somebody can snatch off of you and run and steal while you're walking on the, outside. I don't know. And it can peel, and the leather isn't the best. They're not the best in doing leather, you guys. Leather is not their heritage, period. If you really want Chanel, it's clothing and costume jewelry for me. Not even so much the shoes. I know people love their shoes. Sure. But it's the clothing and the costume jewelry. That's and perfumes, of course. Goes without saying for me. Exactly. Pau says, give them a chance on the things they really excel at. And they really, you guys, I feel so fulfilled. And it makes me so happy to wear it. I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed when I wear their clothes. Like I am always stressed when I wear their bags. Their bags are so high maintenance. They get scratched easily. They get damaged easily. It's like when you wear one of their bags, like your entire existence starts revolving around their bag because it costs too much, because it's too delicate. With the clothing, such a beautiful vibe. And when I received my the Marie Antoinette bow, I wore it. I enjoyed it so much, and the stitch popped. And they're gonna fix it. There's nothing you can't fix in luxury. Do you remember there was that one video in the Hermès ateliers? One of the artisans that does the bags and repairs the bags said, you know, it is our prerogative to say true luxury can always be fixed. True luxury can always be repaired. You don't need to throw away a luxury piece in order to buy a new one and keep consuming and consuming. True luxury can always be repaired. And that's what I feel Chanel does when it comes to their clothing and their fabrics in general, you know, their textile materials. I don't feel Chanel manages to maintain luxury with their leathers, because when you send off their leathers for repair, out of my personal experience, the bags that I did have issues with that they did send off for repairs, none of them came back repaired. None of them. They just came back in an even worse state than they were. So, but with the clothing, effortless. Effortless. Such a vibe. So that's my 5 cents on there is something positive at Chanel as well. And I'm seeing a change for the better. Now that the boutiques are emptier, we are having actually more possibilities and more opportunities to spend time with the sales associate and to get to know the collection and talk about the history, the connections, what goes where, why a certain thing was done. Oh man, listen, it's such a vibe to be in a Chanel boutique and talk about the history of Chanel with your sales associate, if the sales associate knows what they're talking about. For sure, there are some sales associates who have no clue. You got to find the right one. Of course, you got to find the right one. And Grace Chen says, do the clothes go on sale? Yes, yes, they'd go 40% off. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. So thumb up the video, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below. My thought is we don't need leather from Chanel. We can get other stuff from Chanel. Get your leather elsewhere. Chanel has other much more beautiful and better things to offer. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Subscribe, thumb up the video. Bye. Mwah.